All right, finally, part 3 for buying the $1.4 million house. If you have not watched part 1 or 2, go ahead and do so now, because a lot of information is in part 1 and 2. Let me quickly summarize without wasting a lot of time. I'm in the market for buying a house. And by the way, it's not all about me. The reason I'm doing this video is so you can learn what goes on behind the scenes when buying a house, and what to look for and what not to overlook when buying a house. So I'm looking for homes, and I came across a house that I really liked. The house was priced at $1.4 million. I told my agent to put an offer for $1.2 million. I did not want to put the full offer, knowing that this is a seller's market and not a buyer's market. Prices may crash soon, and I do not want to have to lose a lot of money if prices did crash. Even though I'm going to be living in the house, I felt like 1.2 for that house is a good deal, and I was honestly looking in the price range of 1.2. 1.4 was a little bit above my budget, but it's doable. So my agent put an offer for 1.2, and he called me later in the evening and he said that somebody else put an offer for 1.4, the full offer. We lost the house. The house is under contract, and we need to look at something else. So I said, okay. A week went by. I looked at so many homes, but did not find something that I really liked. After maybe 7-8 days, my agent calls me back, and he said the house that we missed is back in the market. Back on the market for sale again. So I told him why. Why did the buyers bail out? He called the seller's agent, and we were told that the buyers did not complete the paperwork and they did not put a deposit, and that's why the house is back on the market. Now that may be true, but it's a small flag that we need to keep back of our head. We need to keep that in mind. Did the buyers find something wrong with the house and that's why they bailed out? Or is it true that they did not complete the paperwork and put a deposit in the escrow? So it's something that we have to keep in mind. Now in part 2, we ended the video with inspection is in part 3, and inspection was a disaster. I'll go over inspection and what I found out and all the things that you need to know. But before I do so, let me just open up the listing quick. And some people may say, why are you showing the address of the house? Or why are you showing a phone number? Or why are you showing an email address? Look it up. Name, email, phone, address are not considered private information. As long as they are not used for commercial purposes, you can show an email address, you can show a phone number, you can show an address, you can show a name, no problems. So I have the listing up on the screen here, and I just want to go over some red flags. Now the first red flag was buyers bailing out after 1 week. We do not know why they bailed out, but that's a red flag. I want to go over the sale history of the house. In 1971, before I was even born, the house sold for $37,000. In 2002, the house sold for $387,000. October 2002. The house was listed for sale October 17, 10 days after the house was purchased. Isn't that weird? Delisted November 21, 2002. The house was purchased in 2004. It was sold again in 2005. So the buyers bought the house, they paid the closing cost, which is a lot of money, and they decided to sell the house exactly after 1 year. February 3, they bought it. February 7, they sold it. Why did they sell the house after 1 year? Weird. The house was listed for sale August 2005. So the buyers, they bought it in February 2005, and they sold it again, or they listed the house for sale after a couple of months. I mean, I was going crazy looking at the sale history of the house. But I thought maybe, I don't know, I'm gonna wait for the inspector to check the house and then I'll make a decision. So the house was delisted after not being sold for maybe 2 years. It was delisted in 2007. It was sold. Actually, I do not know how it was delisted 2007 and then sold 2006. Okay, so let's say the house was listed, the house was purchased on February 2005, listed after a couple of months, and then sold in 2006. So exactly after 1 year or less than a year, the house was sold again, and this time for $1.2 million. The market was all the way up. So the house was purchased May 1st, 2006, and it was listed for sale November 20, 2006. Are you kidding me? Couple of months later, the house was listed for sale again. Seriously? And it was sold 2007 for $875,000. You see how the market crashed from 1.2 million to $875,000. But what's mind-boggling is the house is being sold once a year or less than a year. The buyers, they buy the house. A couple of months later, the house is listed for sale. I don't know why. So February 2007, the house sold for $875,000. The house was listed May 8, 2008. So a year and a couple of months later, the house was again listed for sale. Delisted, relisted, delisted, relisted, delisted. Look at the dates: May, August, September of 2008. May 9, 2008, listed for sale, $639,000. The market crashed. Almost half price. May 27, delisted. August 2008, relisted. August 25, 2008, delisted, relisted, delisted. My God. And then November 6, 2008, it sold for $625,000. Look at the prices: 1.2 million to 875 to 639 to 625. That's why I was worried buying the house. Even though I love the house, those numbers were mind-boggling. The house was listed for sale again, but after how long? After 7 years. 2015. Delisted 2015. Listed. Price change 2015. Delisted 2016. They were not able to sell the house for whatever reason. Okay? Now you go to 2016. Listed for $849,000, delisted, relisted, contingent, so sold $810,000 October 2016. Sold to the buyers that are selling the house right now. Now listed for sale May 17th, 2022. The buyers of the house, they stayed in the house for a good 6 years, right? Listed the house $1,399, which is the $1.4 million. And the house was under contract, like I said, for 1.4, and then it was relisted. And I put the offer for 1.2. Okay? And the house is under contract. So now comes the inspection part. I had to look for an inspector, a certified inspector, that would come and check the house, check the pool, the equipment, the roof, electrical, plumbing, foundation, and everything else. I found one, and I told the inspector to be at the house on Sunday at 1:30. And I had to be there also. I went there with my wife and agent. The inspector was already there, and he was already on the roof inspecting and doing all that good stuff. So I'm excited. The inspector is doing his job on the roof. I told my wife, let's go inside and have a second look at the house. And honestly, when I entered the house, the first thing I noticed was the low ceilings. I do not know how I overlooked the height of the ceilings when I first entered the house. If I go like this, I can touch the ceiling. When you are paying $1.25 million for a house, the least you can expect is high ceilings inside the house. So I went over to my agent and I told him, the ceiling is low, isn't it? And he said, yeah, it's a bit low. The house is a flat roof. And my agent said that we can, instead of a flat roof, we can get a roofing company that would do a triangular roof, and that will give height to the house. I said, okay. It's about $30,000-$40,000, as he said. He has some experience with contracting. Anyway, I told my wife, let's go and look at the rest of the house again. We went inside the master bedroom, and my wife pointed out that the closet space inside the master bedroom will barely fit her clothes. My clothes is not gonna fit. Again, you are paying a lot of money for a house, and you do not even have closet space to fit your clothes. So the inspector is already down from the roof, and he's already inspecting the pool area. He's inspecting the pump, the filter, and the pool equipment. I went over to him and I told him, how is it looking? He said, there's leaking from the pool pump. You need to change the equipment and you need to redo the plumbing for the pool. I said, what else? He said, the pool needs plastering. It has black spots. He said probably the pool was left without water for a long time, and the plaster inside the pool cracked, and it has black spots onto it. And he said, look at the cracks on the side of the pool. That's something major. You need to get a pool expert to come and look at the condition of the foundation of the pool. So I went inside and I told my wife what the inspector told me. And I do not want to keep bugging the inspector. I just want him to do his job. And at the end of the day, he's going to provide me with a report. And then I can decide if I want to move forward with the house or not move forward with the house. If you recall in part 2, I mentioned the agent for the seller. They tried to put something in the contract that says that we cannot back out in case of any issues. We are not able to back out unless we pay a penalty. And in part 2, I told my agent to remove that out of the contract. We're not that stupid and we're not that desperate. So we were able to remove those conditions from the contract. And when the inspector told me about the issues inside the house, I recalled when they tried to pull that thing in the contract where we cannot back out unless we pay a penalty. So I'm glad that we removed those conditions from the contract. So I told my agent what the inspector told me so far, and he said, let's wait for the report and then we can decide. So the inspector finished with the inspection and he told me that he will mail me over the report, and he did. Later in the evening he did mail the report, and the report is extensive. So much details in the report. We're gonna go over it right now, so we do not make this video any longer. We're gonna go over the house report and we're gonna go over the pool report. Maybe we can start with the pool report. It's a smaller one. Red is critical. Orange is semi-critical. Blue, we need to look at. Now, the first thing he pointed was the gate. The gate, honestly, it's not a big deal to me. We can always change the gate. But he said it does not comply with barrier requirement. It opens the wrong way. And then if you look here, in orange, pool area, coping, tile, and decking. So if you look at the picture here, he pointed me to this here, the spacing between the brick here, the red, I do not know what you call it, and this. You see the spacing here? That's bad. He said that may be caused by shifting of the pool. He took another picture. If you look here, there's about an inch height. If you look in the center, and then as you go down, half an inch, and then you go down more, it's flat with the ground. He said that we cannot overlook this because this may turn out to be very costly, $30,000, $40,000 to redo a pool. So that's something very important. Fracking and delamination was observed during the inspection. Some locations had indications of repairs that were substandard and need full evaluation. More notes here, decking and coping separation. He did tell me that the ground is separating from the pool, and that's an indication that we may have a foundation issue with the pool. And now if you look inside the pool, we see black spots. The inspector said that the pool may have been left without water for a long time, and plaster cracked and changed color. So the pool needs full plastering, which is about maybe $7,000, $8,000. Let's read what he wrote. Surface defects, needs further evaluation and likely repair. The plaster surface has signs of delamination and black spot damage. Recommend full evaluation from a qualified contractor. So right off the bat, we are talking about major repairs that need to be done to the pool. And you are talking about $40,000, $50,000, if not more, fixing the pool equipment. We'll go over the pool equipment in a second. So if you look here, no GFCI installed, not a big deal. We can always install GFCI. Anywhere you have water, you must have GFCI installed. And he pointed to filter active leaks observed. He did show me leaks coming from the pump, from the filter, and from the plumbing of the pool equipment. Some pictures. PVC pipes are UV damaged. You can see the damage here. And circulation pump past its life expectancy. Something major, something very, very major is the negative grading and ponding observed. Let's take a look at the picture. And I honestly walked on this floor and I did not notice anything obvious. That's why you get an inspector, a certified inspector, to check the house for you. He said if it rained, water will flow towards the house and not away from the house. That's a major no-no. That's a major no-no. No way. And then driveways, walkways, and steps. He found a lot of cracks, a lot of cracks, which may indicate a foundation issue. Okay, let's see what he wrote. Cracks that exceed normal settlement standards, and that can be indications of other underlying conditions. Maybe we have foundation issues, and that's why the inspector told me to get a foundation person to check the foundation of the house. We have issues with the pool. The pool is separating from the ground, and we have large cracks that may indicate foundation issues. And then we have grading issues where water is flowing to the house and not away from the house. And what else? Siding material. I do not know what he observed with the siding of the house. Siding at or below grade. Siding damage. Incorrect insulation and damage EPS. Let's take a look. They patched this here to make the house look good from the front, and he said this can cause moisture, mold, and damage to the structure of the house. And then some damage here. What else? Exterior doors and windows. He observed a broken glass. I mean, that inspector did not leave anything untouched. He looked at everything, even a broken glass. Block displacement and cracking observed. Let's take a look at the picture. Again, it may be an indication of a foundation issue. Large cracks on the floor, the pool, and now this. He took pictures of cracks everywhere. And more cracks here, more cracks here. Minor cracks, and that's why it's labeled in blue, minor cracks. When the cracks exceeds the standards, he labels them as orange or red. And then siding material, cracking, large. It's in blue, not orange or red, but it needs attention. Look at this. More cracks here. More cracks here. Siding material. More cracks here. And more cracks down here. Again, all may be an indication of a bad foundation. And then siding material, pictures here, pictures there. Retaining walls. Patio, balcony, deck. He noticed some separation here. And then exterior sink plumbing, extensive leaking observed. So basically, we need to look at the plumbing of the house. It could be because of the bad foundation, plumbing was shifted, and that's why we have leaks in several areas of the house. Leaking here, leaking at the pool pump, leaking at the pool filter. And then, if you look here, branch wiring, breakers and fuses, oversized breaker for the AC condenser. If the house went on fire and I call my insurance company, they're not going to cover it because the breaker was not installed by a licensed electrician. Insurance will not cover you. So when you see something like this, it must be fixed. In case of a fire, then you can claim insurance on the house. Branch wiring, breakers and fuses, electrical evaluation recommended. So the inspector told me to get an electrician, a licensed electrician, to inspect the electricity of the house because the inspector is not an electrician. He has a lot of knowledge, but he's not an electrician. He's not a plumber. He's not a foundation expert. Again, GFCI and AFCI protection, no AFCI protection in all locations. No AFCI protection in all locations. And then in orange, cover plate needed. Hot wire exposed. Again, in red, chimney and other roof penetrations. Chimney does not meet the 3-10 fire safety guidelines. Again, if the house went on fire and this was not fixed, insurance will not cover you. So this has to be taken care of. And evidence of founding. Imagine it rains and water stays on the roof. The whole roof needs to be changed. And then chimney and other roof penetrations, possible asbestos containing material. Asbestos, of course, the house was built in 1964. If you are to do any work on the roof, then asbestos is going to be airborne. It's going to go inside the lungs and it's going to cause cancer. All houses built before 1978 or 1971 contains asbestos, and the house was built in 1964. So there's a possible asbestos containing material, ACM. Let's continue with the inspection. Damaged roof sealant around exhaust penetration. Most likely the roof will leak. We do not know. Fire door was not present at the time of inspection. Holes and penetrations, fire rated walls. And then you have flooring and stem walls, stem wall damage, horizontal cracking. Okay, so he showed me this. Horizontal cracking. Right there, horizontal cracking, and that cracking is patched. He said horizontal cracking can be a rusted rebar on the foundation. The foundation, it's a slab foundation. And you have rebars on that foundation. If a steel bar rusts or corrodes, it's going to expand and it's going to crack horizontally. And you do not know how deep that rebar is. It may be on the surface or it may be deep down on the slab. If it's on the surface of the wall, maybe it's doable for a couple of thousands, but if it's deep inside, you're talking about a whole big slab. To go under the house to reach that rusted pipe and change it, the pipe that caused that crack, is a major job. So we most definitely or most likely have a foundation issue. This is the garage area. It's like a small step from the kitchen to the garage, and that step had a crack, a horizontal crack all the way from left to right. He said that can be a major problem. And now if you look here, seismic straps are installed to protect against injury from a falling water heater during earthquakes. I mean, imagine the water heater is filled with hot water. It's not strapped during an earthquake. It may fall down and hurt somebody. The strap is not a big deal, but it's critical and it's a safety concern. That's why it's labeled in red. HVAC closet condition, extensive moisture intrusion and discoloring. Look at the discoloration, possible mold and moisture inside the room. AC condenser is past life expectancy, so most likely we have to change the AC unit, and when changing an AC unit, you're talking $8,000–9,000. And then you have incorrect installation of condensation plumbing. Cooling insulation damaged. And then you have pest control right there. Pest control evaluation recommended. Look at the signs of termites. They ate through the wall, and look at the sign of pieces of wood on the floor here. And if we read what the inspector wrote for pest control, all properties have a potential for wood destroying insects. If you read down here, visible frass, a byproduct of termites, was viewed in the residence water heater HVAC closet. A full evaluation is recommended. And then doors, handle set not installed correctly. I mean, look at that inspector. He checked everything, even the handle on the door. How amazing is that? Holes in wall material. And then flooring damage. I did not see that. I thought the house was in mint condition. What else? Countertops and cabinets in the kitchen. Extensive moisture intrusions and possible microbial growth. Microbial growth is mold. You need to get somebody to inspect the mold for you, and then you need to get a company to get rid of the mold. You cannot just wipe mold with a towel. If mold is airborne, you're going to inhale it, and then it's going to cause cancer. You're talking thousands of dollars. We do not know if mold is behind the cabinet, is under the cabinet, but the inspector was able to tell or able to see mold under the sink. What else? Kitchen plumbing. Active leak was observed. Pictures. Oven, cooktop, and exhaust. Exhaust incorrect installation. So the hood is not venting properly. Recommend full evaluation and correction. Hydro massage bathtub. Missing GFCI. Damaged tiles in shower. Look at the crack. Again, the crack may be due to foundation issues. More cracks. More cracks. Moving along. I just want to finish with the report. Bathroom plumbing. Low pressure. Oh, he did tell me about the low pressure. And then we have bathroom plumbing. Incorrect P-trap. P-traps are required for proper sealing of sewer gases from escaping into the property. This can become a health hazard if not corrected. I don't think it's a big deal to fix this, but imagine having a sewer smell in your house and possibly a health hazard. We need the plumber to fix this. Bathroom fixture is loose. Firebox doors incorrect screen. Room addition remodels, permit search and full evaluation recommended. The agent of the seller did actually tell me that the extension that they built in the backyard does not have a permit. So let's say a fire started from that extension and burned the whole house. Again, insurance is not going to cover you because you did not have a permit to build that extension. And that's the end of the report. That's the end of the report. What do you think? Would you buy the house? No. I called my agent. I told him, no. Tell the seller's agent that we are not buying the house and they can list it back in the market. And they did list the house back in the market. And now it's relisted and now it's contingent again. So somebody else put an offer on the house and it's under contract. At this point, I do not honestly care. I'm glad I did not buy the house. I'm glad I was able to find such a talented inspector that pointed out all the problems and all the issues with the house. I told my agent, no, we are not buying the house. We're going to keep looking. And that's what I will be doing from now until I find the house that I like. Maybe not now. Maybe I'll wait a couple of months and see how the market is like. Maybe prices will go down. Maybe there's a crash coming soon. Nobody knows. But I'm going to keep looking. And I will take you with me on another journey of real estate when I find a house that I like. Let me know what you think. Leave it down in the comments. And we're going to end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions. And we'll do something else in the next video.